Howzit Bru? Welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about the World Player of the Year nominees for the 15s aside, and I'm going to be focusing on men's. I'm going to be focusing on men's World Player of the Year and men's Breakthrough Player of the Year, both for the 15s. The only reason why I'm just focusing on these two categories is that I'm not really spending a lot of time watching sevens. I'm not really spending a lot of time watching women's rugby. I get to watch those, but I just cover too much rugby. I have to watch too much rugby, and the focus of this channel is really men's 15s games. So if you're new to this channel, I'm Kenneth. Welcome to Rugby Bru. I'd love you to subscribe. If you enjoy the video, subscribe. That sounded weird how I said that, but anyway, you know what I mean. And leave your thoughts in the comments, etc. So this video is going to be completely subjective, as are most of the others, right? So I won't be diving into the stats, etc. I'm just reporting what has been chosen. Now, remember, in the comments, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I am just the messenger. So let's look at the nominees of the men's 15-game World Player of the Year. We got 4 nominees there, 3 South Africans and 1 Irishman. So we got Caelan Doris from Ireland, Cheslin Colby, Eben Etzebeth, and pieter-steph du Toit. Only thing I'm disappointed here is that there's no Ox. I would have loved to have seen Ox there. And rugby's a weird game, you know, guys like the scrum halves and fly halves and the wings, they get all the credit, but there's people that are really doing or players that are really doing the hard work up front. I mean, at least pieter-steph. I mean, having said that, 3 of these guys are forwards. So that sort of discounts that argument. But I'm talking about the non-flashy positions, the hookers, the props. They're really doing the heavy grunt work, right? So out of these guys, Cheslin's been nominated before. pieter-steph won in 2019. And so the way that I'm looking at this, right, the way that I think about this, Caelan Doris was phenomenal this year through the Six Nations. They won the Grand Slam, the Six Nations title. He was phenomenal in that tour of South Africa, and especially that second test. I think as the loose forwards, they got the better of us for sure. And Caelan Doris had probably one of his best games in an Irish jersey. So he's right up there. Then we got Cheslin. Cheslin is not the guy that's always going to be scoring the tries, but man, he's been throwing in lineouts. He's been doing drop goals. He's been playing wing, both wings. He's been playing scrum half. He can slot in at first receiver as fly half. Very versatile, and we know the guy is an absolute stepping genius. So a lot of the times, though, he might not be the scoring guy, but, you know, South Africans, for example, we was very proud of our record of not allowing Jono Loma to score a try. But at that same time, in that same team, we were allowing Christian Cullen to score 2-3 tries a test match. I actually don't know if we ever got a hat trick, but the guy was blitzing us, right? Why? Because he sucked in so many defenders, and Cheslin's one of those players. He's phenomenal, and as we've seen in the against France, bouncing their 8th man. I've drawn a blank for a second. His name will come back to me in a sec. But bouncing him this year, Scott Barrett, bouncing him off a tackle. So he's bouncing some really big boys in contact. He's not scared of the tackle. And even his try on the weekend was phenomenal. He actually had to jump in the air and take that ball behind him. And as he's coming down, he's stepping to beat those English winger slut home. So Gregory Eldred's the name of the French player. I told you. It'll come back to me. And so we know the quality and class of Cheslin. And on Twitter and that, there's this huge debate between who is the best player in the world. Is it Cheslin Colby or Anton Dupont? And then we got Eben Etzebeth. What more can we say about Eben? The guy is level and standard that he holds himself, physicality, and at 130 test messages now, something ridiculous. And he's still there at the top of his game, right? Physical, carrying ball, just leading, doing everything. And then pieter-steph du Toit, the one and only. And I know in the past I've said, you know, he is irreplaceable. And somebody said in the comments, you know, no one is irreplaceable. There are players that come along, Richie McCaw, Dan Carter, Guys like that, you just don't find those kind of players come around. Jonah Lomu, like tell me, Joan, there's been really good wingers, but has there really been anybody with that caliber, right? And then you look at some of the French players of the past, Philippe Siller, South Africans, Donny Gerber, even a guy like Nos Botha, Joos van der Vestes, and those guys just don't come around very often. And so pieter-steph is like just a vital cog in the wheel. So before I reveal sort of my picks, the questions to me is I look through these players and say, which guy cannot be, well, when he's dropped or injured from a team, leaves the biggest void. Kalen Doris will leave a big void. Cheston Colby would leave a big void, even though we got some great wingers right now. Eben leaves a big void. And then you think, okay, well, maybe we can slot and Sneem in there, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? And then the thing that we do notice is pieter-steph will leave a gaping hole there, in the loose forwards. So that's the way that I think of it. And so you never know. Because the voting panel is from all across the world. I think Victor Matfield's in there, and maybe John Smith too. Now let's take a look at the breakthrough player of the year. These are the young bucks. These are the future of the game. We've got Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu. We got Emmanuel Faye-Wabasso from England, Jamie Osborne from Ireland, and Wallace Setiti from New Zealand. So all very good picks. So Sasha, probably the next superstar of the men's 15 game, definitely in South Africa. He can do it all. He managed to have 7 games this year, played against Ireland, New Zealand, Australia away, Portugal, and Argentina. Did he play? I don't think he was injured for Argentina, I'm led to believe. So, he got a lot of exposure this year, or was it Wales? I don't know if he played Portugal. Got a lot of exposure, stepped up, came into that fly half role where you think, okay, we can, like, he'll take the role of Pollard right now. That's cool. He's the guy to lead us to the future. Although he's still green, and so most of these guys. And then Emmanuel Faye-Wabasso, what a breakthrough he had for the English team, and an English team that did really well in the Six Nations, step up from the World Cup, but then had a phenomenal tour down to New Zealand this year. And they actually had a test match against Japan and then 2 test matches against New Zealand, and he scored a try in each game. Right, so he was a real handful on that tour, and as we know, New Zealand's not a easy place to go. So for me, huge breakthrough player of the year, as well as Sasha, and that's why they've been nominated. Jamie Osborne, out of the 4, I would say, he's made a big impact too. Really good for Leinster and Ireland, but I don't think he has made as big an impact as, say, a Wallace Setiti or Emmanuel Faye-Wabasso or Sasha Feinberg. So Wallace Setiti has been sensational since he made his big game debut, right, against South Africa. And he was phenomenal against South Africa, phenomenal against Australia, phenomenal against Ireland, phenomenal against England, and even on the weekend, against France. And he looks like one of those guys now that's been there for a long time, right? So to me, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, obviously we've got Sasha there, just this, again, one of those maybe once in a generation players that come along. Faye-Wabasso, it's difficult, right, when you're playing in that team and you're on the wing. To me, because it depends also on the style and the structure of your game. And right now, like, England's a lot of kicking, high ball, putting pressure on that. But when he gets his opportunities, he's phenomenal. So for me, I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, okay, who are the guys? I know for me, Jamie Osborne is the guy that would probably be in the bottom of those 4, right? But that's quite a high criteria. These guys all have set a really high bar. Okay, so that's how I'm thinking about it. So now it's time for me to reveal who I think will win out of these 2 categories. So I want to know what you guys think. right? I want to know who you think will win, and they're going to announce these on the 25th of November. I'm led to believe there's an event on the 25th. So let's take a little sniff. Okay, so the breakthrough player of the year, I think, is going to be Emmanuel Faye-Wabasso from England. And the reason why I'm going to say that is that from him coming and starting out this year in the Six Nations, made an immediate impact. Um, you know, one try, I believe, in the Six Nations, 3 tries on the tour, once against Japan and 2 against New Zealand. He was phenomenal. He was fantastic. And so, as good as Sasha was, hey man, this is hard. As good as Sasha was, I'm gonna think, because Sasha got injured and Faye-Wabasso had probably the better tour in terms of his impact and scoring. Might be a little bit fresher in the memory with those judges, and I think it's for Sasha in a team like Pollard. Pollard comes and steps in and gets the kicks, and everything works out well. Is you tend to forget maybe how good he was, and then the other guy in the frame is Satiti, who I think has probably had one of the biggest impacts. The only reason why I didn't choose him is I don't know if he's had enough games yet, right? And people might be thinking, I don't know, he's had those 5 games or whatever, 4 or 5 games against top class opposition. So that's just that's like I said, mate, I'm just making stuff up at this point. This is completely subjective. So that's who I think. And it wouldn't surprise me if Sasha got it. It wouldn't surprise me if Wallace Atiti got it. They would all 3 of those guys are deserving, I would say, above Osborne. And that's not taking away anything from Osborne. I just think they had much higher profile impact, if that makes sense. And then my prediction for men's 15 World Player of the Year is Cheslin Kolbe. As much as pieter-steph is my ultimate player, if I could be a player at the highest level, it would be. And in fact, I actually played in his position at school up until probably Stana 9, and then the dudes outgrew me a little bit, and then I was back to scrum half. I actually started off as a hooker, funny enough, and then flank, and then I actually played a few games at 8th man. That's where I scored my most tries, actually, and then scrum half. And then actually when I was in the UK, I played a number of games on wing and inside centre. So pieter-steph was the guy for me that I would love to be the player. But I just think Cheslin, it's one of those positions, right, where they get all the glamour, where pieter-steph has got his head down, just making tackles like an absolute beast. He's just the diesel engine, which allows for players like Cheslin. But Cheslin has been able to unlock defenses, score tries, create opportunities and assists for others. And just because of his frame, and just because of the way that he can defend, the way that he can attack, and the way he can bump guys. And I think he's just been magnificent for us this year, as has Eoban, as has pieter-steph. So again, I would love it if all 3 could be chosen. But I think, and by the way, I'm going here what I think they will choose, not necessarily what my choice is. If I had a choice, it would be a pieter-steph straight away, and Wallace Atiti, to be honest. But I'm just predicting here what I think these guys will choose. Okay, so I want to hear your comments. Don't get nasty. I'm just the messenger. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Have a beautiful day. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love you to subscribe, leave your comments, or if you thought players that were not included that you thought should be included, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys, take it easy.